Yes, yes, yes. Here we are. Same faces, different show. That's what I like to call this one because this is the very first hype station of the season with all the podcasts. Are looking all intelligent today. Oh, I like the glasses look. I like it a lot. I like it. Abs and Leo. How are we all feeling today? Abs, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good now.
Leo, you excited for the game?
Yeah, and that music got my blood flowing.
It does. By the way, people, these beats by Des,
Beats are great.
Mike, You'll Never Walk Alone, Magic Mike, who's part of the team, unbelievable producer, by the way. So please go over and check Mike out. All the links are in the description to beats by Des. But Abs, are you feeling better? Because we know you've not been too good, have you? But nothing can keep Abby quiet for a long time. Abs, tell the people what's been wrong.
Oh, I've been not well. I've been on antibiotics, but I'm okay now. I mean, I've still got like a day's left, but I didn't want to miss another show. I like chatting, especially, and I'm going to the game tonight, so I can't really, you know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to go to the match, so.
It's all right for some minute. Oh, do you know what I mean? Always going to the game. She's just showing off. Oh, how are you? Because I feel like, he's still coming round from this vacation. He's still in vacation mode a little bit. How are you feeling? Oh, you good?
It takes me a long time to get back to like normality when I come back off a vacation, and I am definitely still struggling. And I'm just in the mindset of I go off again in October, so I'm just like I'm already still just staying in that time zone because why not?
Why not? Indeed. Let's just pop this up from Azan, one of our number one followers. Leo, Abs, and Ash. How are you all? Azan, we are all good. I know Scotia's Rising is in the building as well. Please follow them for all your Academy news. But it's not about the Academy today. It's about Liverpool FC back at Anfield, Leo, versus Crystal Palace. Are you optimistic or are you a little bit worried in the back of your mind? Because I might be a little bit worried, I'm not going to lie.
No, I'm definitely optimistic because, we know the strength in the mentality of this squad, and that Fulham game will have hurt a lot. Just like it hurt for us, but for them even more because they're all winners. And I'm sure that it feels like it's been an eternity since Fulham, and I'm sure they're all just wanting to put it behind and prove what they're all about.
Completely agree. Oh, do you think it's going to be a case of, right, let's prove everybody wrong. Let's prove Ash wrong because he's been doubting us this week. Let's go out there, let's get 5 goals, shut up the haters, and play chase with Man City again.
Yeah, I don't think it's a 5-goal bonanza, but I definitely feel like we're one of the best teams when it comes to proving people right, proving wrong, and bouncing back. I feel like the players will be up for it. It's a home game as well, so I can't. I mean, I just can't see us not getting a W. And again, it might not be the worst thing to have started the way we started. So that way we remember, like from early, so we're like, okay, we can't slip up. We've been here before. This could count in the future. I see a lot of people writing us off, like if we don't win today, and I'm like, what? They don't know how many games there are in the league.
Do you know what though? I think I might have said it. I think it's not writing Liverpool off. It's just, where does City drop points? Like, if we lost today, we'd be 5 points behind already. That's 2 games they've got to lose. And I can't even see, Abs, Man City losing 2 games this season. They look so good and so sharp. Is this why it's important to go out there tonight, put on a performance, and just quieten the noise down a little bit?
I think if we don't win, it's not over. Like, there's so many games left in the season, but we'd just be making it harder for ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, we're never out. You know what I mean? Like, but with City, if there was one of the games that I thought they might drop points, it was going to be West Ham, and then I was like, oh. So do you know what I mean? It's just a bit like I expected them to like beat Bournemouth and that, but I think we'll win tonight. Like, we've got the crowd there. Like, it's Anfield under the lights. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we'll definitely win. And I know you're like not thinking it'll be like a 5-goal like bonanza or whatever. But I actually think we're going to score quite a few tonight. I think it's like Nunez's time to shine, to be honest.
Okay, I like this. Don't tell us your score predictions just yet, because they're going to come later. Score predictions, starting 11 predictions are going to come later. But let's talk about the opposition a little bit, Leo, because Azan has put a comment here saying, who's the opposition player that you fear the most? Now, if we look at last season, Wilfried Zaha, 14 Premier League goals. And we know what Trent's like when he switches off sometimes. He might be a great right back, but for switching off, that's his biggest weakness. That could be a threat for Crystal Palace tonight, couldn't it?
Definitely, and that's why I think Klopp will most likely start Hendo on the right side of midfield, just to give that support, for when Zaha, because they know he's really him and probably Eze in the midfield, who kind of tends to come and drive with the ball. He definitely is really dangerous, but Zaha, I expect Hendo to be there and support because we've seen how good he can be at doing that, at tracking back. We've talked about it before. The only issue is I really wanted Harvey to start, and so can Harvey start on the left side of midfield? I'm not so sure, So
yeah, that's the one I've been worried about, and we'll talk a bit more about that when we go to our predicted 11s, because Harvey Elliott signing a new contract. Great news this week. Is he going to get a big role this season? Are the youngsters going to get a big role this season? Because it doesn't look like we're going to dip into the transfer market.
No.
Oh, the podcaster, come on.
I know, because I was dancing this idea when I chose my team. I was dancing with the idea. Like, I looked at last season. All right, we took it. You know what? That's a whole different conversation. Let me just answer your question because I'll go babbling on. So, yeah, he'll. I reckon he will. The way Klopp speaks about him, the way looks like he's playing in training, the way the way Klopp trusted him for his injury last season. I think he was definitely going to get the nod. So definitely, I can see him playing a big part this season if he stays fit.
Do you think, Habs, we talk about Elliott, but Carvalho for me was the one in pre-season that excited me the most. Leo talking about Hendo being on the right to protect Trent. Could this be a surprise opportunity for Carvalho while Thiago's out to start on that left-hand side of midfield?
I mean, it's an opportunity for him, isn't it? I mean, I'm like most excited about, I'm excited about Nunes, I am, but in January when we were like possibly signing Carvalho, it made me dead excited, and when it didn't go through, I was like, oh god, like if it doesn't go through now, I really want him. Do you know what I mean? So I am really excited about him. I mean, I don't know about tonight. I don't know what Klopp's thinking. He might play it safe, but I mean, I'd like to see him play, but I think he might come on for a couple of minutes, maybe towards the end. But he's not in my predicted lineup.
No, Leo, the injuries are stacking up. It's like Holby City. I don't know about Liverpool FC. It's ridiculous at the minute. What do you think the problem is at Liverpool? Do you think it's the style of football we play? Do you think it's the medical department? Or do you think it's just literally bad luck? Because I've pinned this up and it looks like, obviously, Gomez is the most likely to start with Kanate and Matip being out. It is a perfect chance for Gomez because he's not looked that sharp recently, has he? So what do you think the problem is with the injuries at the minute?
It's tough to say because last season, when you think about it, our injuries weren't so bad. We were able to have our strongest lineup for most games. So it might be, an issue of still having these players who are so injury prone. Because in Ox, we've seen throughout since he's moved here, he's been injured. So I don't necessarily think it's the style of play. I think it's more we have some of these players that we've had for a long time, like Joel Matip has been injury prone as well. These players that we signed, and I think now the scouting department is more careful than it probably was before. We saw with Nabil Fekir, for example, that it was that close, and then they saw a problem with his knee, and they decided not to sign him. So definitely, I think it's more these specific players who are injury prone, and yeah, I mean, I'm wondering what the meltdown would be like if Keita starts on Twitter, because given we just discussed that it'll probably be a left-sided midfielder. He's been back in training since last week, and so it'll be interesting to see if he starts.
This Crystal Palace team. This is probably the best Crystal Palace team we've seen in a long time in the Premier League, maybe even ever under Patrick Vieira. Now, we've not lost in 10 against Crystal Palace, but in my eyes, I always see them as a tough team, a bogey team for Liverpool. We come unstuck a little bit. Now, we've got 3 good results in the last 3, 3-1, 3-0, 2-0. We've won them. But does that worry you a bit that we've won them, we've not lost in 10, they could come and want to upset the apple cart under Patrick Vieira? Do you think our mentality's still there?
Nah, mentally still there. It's how it goes. It's how it is, isn't it? Like, I don't think we can look at stats like that and read into it too much. Like it's on football's won on the day and who wants it more and stuff like that. Obviously, things can come in like a rubbish penalty and could lose 1-0 or whatever. But it's football, and it's all about on the day. And on the day, like our team was stronger in it. Like we should, just games we should be winning. You know what I mean? Especially watching them against Arsenal last week. If they play anything like that, they will have a point to prove as well. Because to be fair, they didn't play well, but they had chances to even up that game and to start playing. So definitely two teams going out to a point to prove. Palace will feel themselves because they've been our bogey team, even though the results say different. But it's a game you should be winning, man. Let's just keep it 100.
Do you know what? Oh, I've not been like, usually at the start of the season, I'm so excited about Liverpool, and the past week and just the build up to the Fulham game, I was excited, but I was deflated because we wanted a little bit extra, and I know we've been asking for a little bit more because of the injuries. That gets you a bit deflated. But today, for the first time, I've put all that to the back of my mind, and I'm like, do you know what? This is our football club. This is Liverpool FC. Like, let's just enjoy this season. And I know we want to win things, but we also want to enjoy game by game as well. And as I'm saying, he's so excited. Latif, he's so excited. Abs, you're going the game. You're excited. What's your ritual, Abs? I want to know. Do you go with your dad?
Yeah.
I want to know what's your pre-game ritual, because I have little pre-game rituals as well and superstitions too.
Oh God, I don't even have one. You know, my dad's just bloody having a pint beforehand. That's my dad's ritual. I mean, it might be the thing that I always make sure that I have the same scarf on or something like that. You know, any superstitious stuff. But I mean, I had the same scarf on the last at the Wolves game, last game of the season, and it didn't work. So, but my dad parks miles away from the ground. It's so annoying. He's like, get your steps in. I'm like, do you know what I mean? I'd rather pay the £5 in the car park up there. And he's like, no, it's all right. And we end up parking that far away that the pub we're in is half blue, half red, half the time. And last game of the season, there was Evertonians sat there watching watching the scores, because it was Burnley's scored or whatever. Do you know, it was all that way. They just survived. I think they just survived anyway, didn't they, before the last game of the season anyway? Yeah. So they were all happy, and then we were. But my dad loves going to this one pub, and I'm like, let's just go to the Arsenal. So I don't have my own ritual. I just follow along wherever my dad parks, wherever he wants to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it really. I am so excited to get back though, especially with it being under the lights. I mean, I don't mind a 12:30 kick-off on a Saturday. Do you know what I mean? But I'd much prefer I don't mind Monday night football. You know, I understand with it being in the week, people don't go out and have a drink as much or whatever. But I love Monday night football. It's probably
I love Monday night football. I think the coverage as well is better on Sky Sports when you're on Monday 100%. Night football. The coverage is so much better under the lights at Anfield. You can't beat it. But Abs, this is your chance. Plug the pub right now in the show. You might get a free pint tonight. Oh my goodness gracious me! No, I'm so sorry. Wherever Abs goes, listen, Mr. Rudkin, if you're in the comments right now, let us know the name of the pub. We'll plug
he won't have a clue.
He's not got a clue. He just goes for the pint.
We just pull up. It's that far away. I can't even. It's probably closer to Walton Asda. To be honest, it's miles away.
Abs, you're saying this like I have a clue where you're on about. Literally, I don't have a clue.
It's far away. That's all we may as well walk from ours. That's what I always say to him. We may as well just walk from ours, to be honest.
Oh my goodness. So that's a little bit about how we're feeling about the game. But I think what we all want to discuss is the starting 11.
It's dead.
I'm scared about this one. The starting 11. So, you like that all? Always what is this noise? What's going on here?
No, I'm with it.
You like it? You with that?
I'm with it.
So, starting 11. It's a tough one. I think Alisson Becker, we all know, nailed on, right? But then this back four, I want your back fours. So, Leo, we'll start with you. Mm-hmm. Let's go back four for tonight's game. Your predicted 11.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only position really that's up for discussion is who's going to replace Ibu Konate and Matip, who are both injured. So, I think it's got to be Joe Gomez in terms of, we've discussed about him getting his chance. He's properly fit now. He's had such a good partnership with Virgil, and I know that Naldini is a hero for us, but that especially for the high line that we're going to play tonight and the pace that Palace have, I think we need to have Joe Gomez, and Naldini isn't really that.
No, not Dini.
more of a
We
fighter.
need pace. We 100% need pace. But Gomez he's not looked as sharp as he usually does. Oh, you've not looked as sharp as you usually do in there at centre back. Everyone, I need a picture of Joe Gomez.
Therefore
I'm
not.
pull one up.
Therefore not.
I'm gonna pull it up in a minute.
Definitely. You put me on a bad hair there.
Caught you on a bad hair day. Oh, what's your starting back four tonight?
It picks itself. Like, let's be honest, yeah. Let's be honest, and I'm nowhere near a hater or anything. Yeah, Nat Phillips is not starting. Nat Phillips is just in case. Yeah, it is going to be Joseph Gomez playing.
Joseph,
When he plays, he's going to cement his place back in the team. He's going to hold it down with Van Dijk. He's playing next to the best defender in the world.
Yeah.
That makes anybody. That guy played with Lovren. He played with everybody. He just looks great in it. So Gomez and Virgil van Dijk complement each other. We've had these type of disagreements in our group chats. Gomez is back. Matip did well. He's a very good centre back. But last season, let's be honest, is more of a freak season for him than it is like a great season. This is the first season he stayed fit in it, and I'm trying to be fair but a bit harsh. Like it was really good to see what he's like under a season. He deserved his place. But one thing about Matip, he's injury prone, and it was more like weird seeing him play a full season for me than it was seeing him like that was crazy. But he's a great centre back, but you just know he's injury prone, just like most of our midfielders.
Completely true. Abs, are you going with the same back four? No Samikas? You keeping Robbo in there?
No, I keep Robbo in 100%, definitely. I'm with Al. Like it'll be Trent, but we'll have Trent. I feel like we always go at Trent there, but definitely have Trent. Obviously, Gomez, Virgil, Robbo. I just can't see Tomiskas getting a look in. To be honest, I love Tomiskas. He does a really good job at doing a Robbo impression. But yeah, I'm with Al.
Do you know what we've seen a few times against Crystal Palace? Milner versus Zaha.
Oh.
And it's always worked, to be honest. It's always worked.
My whole timeline's hating on Milner right now, by the way. I think it's Milner. If Milner gets a look in tonight, I feel like Twitter's going to have a meltdown. Everyone's going for Milner at the minute. It's not like he's playing bad. It's just because of his age.
He's playing well.
No.
He was probably our best player.
He played really well.
It's like people are we shouldn't be playing him because of his age. We shouldn't have to resort to that. Do you know what I mean? But he's a good player for me.
I kind of hear the argument though, because I like Milner, and again, I agree. I feel like when he came on at Fulham, he actually made the difference, and he worked hard, and he's a utility player. And I get why we kept Milner, and I think we should have offered him the contract. But the thing is, when you're thinking of Liverpool Football Club, and you forget the types of things we should have, or type of things we should be linked to, and who should, quality-wise, come off the bench. It is a difference in quality. However, he gets a lot more stick than he deserves because, again, he put a lot of our sentiments to shame when he came on, and age ain't nothing but a number. So
Milner's not playing. Milner's not.
By the way, what is it with Hendo and Milner at the minute with this Flintstones beards? What's going on? Fred and Bam Bam Flintstone. It's not a good look.
Every start of the season, pre-season, and then they trim it. Usually, first game.
I just can't look at Milner the same. It just can't
look
at the same.
Really different.
It's like he's turning up to train. He's cut the bottom of his car out, and he's got his feet underneath his car. Flintstones, doing the Flintstones shuffle. I want to talk about this though. This game, Cox will play a strong lineup, says Azan, and next game play our youngsters. Listen, I do not want the youngsters playing against Manchester United, to be honest.
I don't know what Azan's doing or what time it is where he's at, but he definitely needs to sleep, take a nap.
We need strong team every game. I feel this season. We've got to put a strong team, unless it's the cup matches. Are you all with me on this one? I'm not interested in the FA Cup and League Cup this season. With the depth of our squad, with the injuries that we're undertaking at the minute, I'd rather just focus on Premier League, Champions League. Are you on that lines, Leo?
Definitely, and especially given that we won both last season, so we have that winning feeling, and we've experienced it, and now we can check it off. But the reality is that nothing's like the Champions League, nothing's like the Premier League, and so I agree that I think it will be our focus, and Klopp and they'll know that we don't have the same depth as last season.
We don't have the depth. That's the thing for me. Is it's like we can say like, oh, let's leave. Sorry, just to like butt in, but like we can say like,
I like it.
Like we can say like, oh, let's not focus on them this season. But I honestly like we don't really have like the depth there anymore to sort of like do it all this season. We don't have the choice there anymore. Like with Minamino not being there, do you know what I mean? He was scoring all the goals for us to get to them finals. So I don't think we have a choice in it. I think it is like put all our eggs in the bigger baskets.
Abs, can I ask you a question? I've asked this question before. I asked it on a show that I was on yesterday. Bobby Firmino, obviously, is on a decline right now. And I don't want everybody to get on Bobby's back. I want Bobby to be able to leave in this kind of stature where you're a god at the club. Like, everybody loves Bobby. If he plays this season taking spots off Nunes and doesn't score, I know personally he's going to work hard and contribute to the team.
Yeah.
But fans want to see him score, especially if Nunes is on the bench. Looking at that and thinking how potentially fans could turn against him, would you have kept Minamino in the summer transfer window and let Bobby go in hindsight? Or do you think letting Minamino go was a good choice and keeping Bobby?
I'm too sentimental as a person, though. This is the thing for me. Like my dad will just be ruthless sometimes. Like when we're talking about it, he's like, "Well, we've just got to let them go." Do you know, like if they're not scoring, I'm too sentimental in myself. Like Sadio leaving, hurt. Like I was literally like seeing like all that stuff out and giving gifts out to people and all that. I was just like, "Oh, come back." Do you know what I mean?
It still kills me.
I'm too sentimental. When it comes to Bobby, like I just feel like I want him to like. Do you know like what Origi got, where he got like the Guard of Honour and he got like a really nice send off, and I don't want Firmino to leave on a really bad note where everyone's like pissed off with him because he like didn't score or Klopp's played him and he should not really. Like I don't think we're going to see that much of Firmino this season anyway. Honestly, maybe the cups are where Firmino's gonna go, but I honestly don't see us trying to get far in them. It's not that we're not capable of getting far in them if we wanted to try and like. Start a strong starting 11 in them, but you just can't manage the big things and the little things. But I love Firmino, and I don't want him getting loads of hate either. I feel like it's sort of like protect the legacy at the same time. Do you know what I mean? But it is sad to see that like famous front three just start to like disintegrate. Do you know what I mean? Like Mane gone.
It is hard. It's like the end of an era, isn't it? It's like the end of an era. Oh. Would you have kept Taki and let Bobby go? Because Jota's injured. When Jota comes in, he's ahead of Firmino, 100%. So, like Ab said, Bobby's playing cup games, I think, this season. But Minamino was showing so much promise. That hurt me a little bit seeing Taki go because Mane kind of overshadowed it because I'm going to miss Mane for the next 3-4 years because I know at Bayern Munich he's going to be doing absolute madness at Bayern Munich. So I'm going to miss him. And Diaz, at the minute, needs to score a few more goals in order to kind of win a few more people around. Would you have kept Taki and let Bobby go?
The reason why I'm 50-50 on this because it made sense because he was paying him, he weren't really playing. And then to say he was going to go in and be like the cup hero again is probably having high expectations. He didn't look happy. When we celebrated cups, he wasn't really looked like like he was part of that team that did that. Did he? I don't think he even got a medal for one of those. Well, which is crazy. My only thing is when we had all these outs and haven't really replaced, it's crazy. But then when I think about the front three, and I think about a backup front three, we have enough players. It would be like Fabio probably going in left mid or something. So,
but Minamino's playing right midfield as well. We don't have. You might say Elliott can come in there because he's looked sharp in pre-season on the right wing. Mm-hmm. But Minamino was ready-made to just kind of replace Salah when Salah needed a rest. He kind of started fitting that mold. Would you have kept in Leo? I'll divert this one to you before we move on. Would you have kept Taki?
Well, it's a tough one because you talk about him and Bobby, and I think a lot of it is just what interest there is out there, and I don't know what club. Like there were some rumors about Juve, but it was all like it was not true. None of
Yeah.
it was true, and I wonder what club would really pay. We would probably ask for 25 million. What club would pay for 25 million, given he's turning 31, he's like on a decline, like we said,
Yeah, his
and
goal
he
return's not
his
high.
goal return, high wages. He takes a bit of time to integrate into a team because he's all about fluidity. You know, he's not that type of player that's just going to slot in, I think. And so I think it's more of a question like Minamino. We saw there were so many clubs interested this summer, and we were able to get a good fee for him.
Yeah.
And we know Bobby can do a job for the team. So I think given the way the club is run, unfortunately, which is just about, sell to buy, and we couldn't have gone Darwin without if we hadn't sold him. So that's the problem. It's like if it was a different club, then maybe, but the structure of this club, it was. I don't even think Bobby was an option, given his contract situation.
How embarrassing is that saying we literally had to sell Taki to get Darwin?
Yeah.
We are turning over big numbers. It's frustrating me so much because we look at this summer transfer window, we've more or less broke even by selling Bobby, selling Taki, selling Nico, getting the money through Taiwo Awanihi. We've broke even in terms of transfer net spend, and the wages have gone lower. So it's frustrating to not
Remember
see.
though, we got Diaz in early as
Yeah.
well. So they'll like I agree, but they'll say we got Diaz away. So Diaz would have been this season, but we got him early. All of those little things that just make you feel like, come on, man, do better. But that's what I'm saying. This is why I can't see FSG being I'm glad for what they've done, and I think they're doing a better job than people give them credit for. However,
Yeah.
I can't see them
long term.
I can't see them long term. I can see them, getting us back. They balance the books. They do what they need to do, and
we're not going to be out with the best team.
Yeah.
We're not going to be the marquee elite team under FSG, because to be that team, we've got to do what Man City are doing and spend when it's necessary. But FSG follow the model too much.
We don't even have to spend that much.
There's no risk. There's no risk. That's the problem. Man City are risk things. Like buying Haaland was a risk. Letting Sterling and Jesus go, that was a risk. We've not really risked because we've let Mane go, but they brought Darwin Núñez in the highest fee. That's not a risk. We buy players that we know are going to fit in our system. It's very calculated. Instead of take a whim on someone. Do you know what I mean? James Maddison's struggling at Leicester. Try and bring him in and see what he can do at Liverpool. It is a risk. It's like a 40 million, 50 whatever million fee, but it could potentially take us to that next level. Exactly.
What is that nowadays? 50 million is box standard for minimum, if that. It's very rare you're going to see a player go for unless you see someone go, you're like, oh my god, he went for 20 million. Oh, how did he go for that price? But then you're thinking he only wanted to go to that club probably. So we basically look for players that are we know can change the team, but they have to be going on the cheap. That's when we get activated. Until then, if they're still quoted at 80 million, like Tunchimenti, all of those Diaz, these players that we were happy to just wait for, and as soon as they was offered for a lower fee is when we wanted to jump. And that's not a great tactic. So I can't see for longevity, FSG being us being FSG for the long run.
And I said it here first. Bellingham will go to Man City. I'm telling you now.
No, don't say that.
Don't
say that.
If not, Man City.
We're having a good Monday. It's positive vibes, and now you decide to
Happy
destroy
Monday,
it all.
guys!
That's the worst thing you could say.
I'm getting
to me,
off.
by the
I'm
way.
going. I'm off.
Let me break your hearts. Abs, I'm so sorry for breaking your heart, but we do need to address Realism Jared's comment. Big up Realism Jared. Thank you for jumping in to the show. Defo, Trent, and Gomez are going to be targeted. Hopefully, we can keep the ball, nullify the transition in attack with good positional awareness. This is why the midfield is so important tonight, because we're going to have to try and keep possession. Because if we play the way we normally play, Palace are perfect to counter-attack Liverpool, and that's where our weakness is. They've got Mateta. I don't know if Mateta will start, Mateta or Edouard, but either one of those with Zaha up against Gomez and Van Dijk, that's what Liverpool don't like. 2 against 2 physical, fast players. We saw it against Fulham. Do you worry about that side of the game, having Trent and Gomez over there on the right-hand side.
I feel like that side, even when Matip's there, that's always the side that I worry about. That's always the side that you just think, oh, they're just gonna go for Trent. They're just gonna go down that side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I put in the group chat, didn't I? Say, I'm like, would you ever put Trent in midfield? I just wanted to see what everyone would say, and everyone was like, no, like, don't say it. But I'm seeing it more and more on Twitter. You know, like maybe if we changed it up a bit, maybe one day where Trent sort of is in the midfield instead. Because I mean, I love him, but like, is like defensive is where he does lack. Do you know what I mean? That's where he makes his mistakes at times. I mean, people are still going on about the Fulham game the other day. Like, it's become a bit of a meme now, hasn't it? That picture of his defending, but
posterized by Mitrovic.
Yeah, it's like I literally seen like digital artists like just going onto the art thing. Someone like drew it, and I was like, oh, do you know what I mean? Like, I absolutely love Trent. Like, don't get me wrong, but I sort of like that is where they're gonna go for. But I'm quite positive, mate, just because we're at Anfield. Like, I don't think we're gonna concede. I'm gonna be that person. Like, I'm gonna go.
That's a big statement.
Clean sheet for me. I bet you at the end when we do our score predictions, I'm gonna be like, I think I'll say 4-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
I just decided to mix
that
it
is
up
big though. Clean sheet. But this is perfect. This is what I wanted to say actually. First of all, the disrespect in this comment. Azan, I am not G in any way, shape, or form. Do not tap me with that brush. G, respect to you, but I am not being you, G. Not a chance. G likes that negative. Like, he likes being Mr. Negative now. I feel like he you
need that though.
Look at all this is like no comment. G loves that kind of narrative now. Come on, you know he does all. You know he does. I want to talk about right. Gomez, because no Matip, no Konate, Leo. Gomez, if he plays well, he could maybe secure this centre-back space down again. This is his big chance. Since his injury, I feel like this is his big chance. He's not going to get in cup games because Konate still playing well, still fit. Matip playing unbelievable, still fit. Both injured now, unsure as to how long they're going to be out. If Gomez plays well tonight, we could see Van Dijk and Gomez 2.0 again, couldn't we?
Oh yeah, and that's part of what I love about Klopp is even though he loves to go for a certain team, we saw last season, for example, in the beginning of the season, Harvey Elliott was outstanding in that midfield, and then he stuck with him until that injury at Leeds. He was starting every single time, and he was a year younger. You know, he was still only 18 back then, so it was really brave of him. And so I have no doubt that if he's performing at the level that he did when we won the title, that even if Ibu comes back, Matip, he's going to stick in there. He's going to stay in there. And we know if he's at his best, that we've talked about it before, I think it could potentially be our best partnership because of the high line that we play. Both of them complement each other so well. And it's just, I'm just praying because I love him, and apparently
I really like
as well.
Joe Gomez. Even when you saw the reel, it was like I'm passing the phone to the nicest guy in the team. Like Joe Gomez is literally a nice guy. He's never on social media boasting about anything. He lives like a quiet life. He just wants to play football, and that's why I like him. It hurts a bit that he looks like O, because I know O's not as humble as that. But it does hurt a little bit. Oh, look at this one. You'll like this. Time for Ash and O to start today. Do you know what? I don't think would be a good partnership. I don't think it would work.
You say you're our virgin,
yeah. I just don't think it would work. Or I feel like you'd want to get the goals too much. I feel like you'd be running off upfield, and I'd be like, "Oh, I need backup, bro. I need backup." You know it. Look, you know
I'm actually a centre back before anything else. Before I move into midfield.
You've just said that because Joe Gomez links.
No, seriously. All my awards, I can grab some of them right now. Yeah, that I can find centre back.
So we might make a good partnership then. But Gomez, you want him to secure. If you had a choice, like you could choose anybody, on the day to be the best partnership in the team, you'd go Van Dijk and Gomez, wouldn't you?
Did you hear what Leo said? Did you hear what Leo said?
I would choose Ibu though, but because I'm French, I love Ibu. Sorry. I love you.
I was about to
I
say,
like Ibu.
everything
I like
that
Ibu.
Leo said, 100%. Like for me, I feel like Ibu will get there. I still think he's a bit rash. He's still learning. Like he's still young and he'll get there.
Yeah.
Gomez is still for me the guy who complements Virgil the best. I think Matip and Gomez play a very similar game. They like to stand off, centre attackers, and then once like, oh my god, I've got to go in, and you know it's never going to be Virgil unless you're on his side. Gomez is always that. I'll go to him, try win the ball, and Van Dijk cleans up. They complement each other very, very well. Like you know what I mean. So if Gomez goes in and doesn't win it, it's not like oh my god, Van Dijk's just here to clean it up, and then Van Dijk don't got to worry about that going for the initial header or going into to defend because Gomez has gone in for it, and 9 out of 10 times Gomez is going to win that ball. He's got the pace as well to run in behind, and he's got a very good recovery. Good for Trent. But what I want to say about Trent as well is I feel like last season Trent was actually the best. I think it was the best defensive display. I'm not saying it was perfect, but I feel like attacking wise is where you probably lacked more last season in terms of assists and whatnot.
Yeah, it's true.
But defensively wise, I don't think much people got past him, and I think you got to give him a little bit more credit. I'm not saying he's not he's the best tackler, but when the last time you seen him being embarrassed by a player? Like the Mitrovic thing, Mitrovic took the whole team on. So everyone needs to hold that L. No?
I agree, but the problem is just those decisive moments, and that's where the titles and the Champions League are won. That's but like in the Champions League final, that Vinicius, I know it's so difficult to pick moments, but the problem is that's in those top games.
As a right back, you shouldn't be doing that. Should you?
As a right back, you can never make those mistakes. Like you just have to be perfect, and Robbo is perfect. You know what I mean? And that's what's so 100%. Difficult. The margins are so tight.
But let's not forget, we are playing Trent. We're playing Trent like we're almost catering and covering up his deficiencies and whatnot. Like, I feel like that's kind of what Klopp's done really well to make Trent get to where he is and play the type of football. So that's kind of where I'm a little bit like, we know Trent is this type of player, so we play this style of football. So just like Salah, he's not. On the right hand side, it's a whole different approach to on the left hand side and whatnot. So I definitely agree with you.
Do you think anyone could ever come in and take Trent's place off him? Because how many times are we going to say Trent switched off? How many times is that back post ball going to come in?
Under Klopp,
he scored?
No.
You don't think
another manager will come in and maybe go into a back five? And stuff like that. But
Trent would work well in a back five. Trent would work better in a back five.
That's why the whole England setup don't make no sense. Like when it was Gomez and Trent, it makes no sense. But another manager will put him in a back five so then he can, you know what I mean, he can do what he needs to do and help, Fabinho and whatnot in the middle and really use less midfielders like to play defensively. But as another manager, I think Klopp loves the excitingness, get back the hot. He loves all that excitement that these little things. He knows.
Chase. This is what they like to do, Jurgen and Pep. So let's move on to midfield because we've been talking about defense for a while. This is the first pick of the day. Leo should play as our third midfielder. I like this, Azan. That's a great show. I feel like he'd be a little techie Coutinho, Leo. I could imagine him playing as a number 10, like in between the lines, a bit creative. Abs, what's your midfield three? Because this is the big talking point for today's game, I feel.
Do you know what? I feel like whatever he goes with, there's going to be a meltdown over it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a meltdown either way.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? I just don't, I don't know. I don't know what Klopp's going to do. If you're asking me, what I want, I mean, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing Keita go again. I mean, I wouldn't mind.
The Twitter popped up again.
I wouldn't mind Keita. I mean, they'd be absolutely meltdown. I can't see Klopp doing it though. To be honest, I want to see the meltdown where people are when he puts Milner in or something. Genuinely, I want.
Do you think though, Abs? Do you think the worst person for Klopp to put in terms of fans having a meltdown is Keita tonight? Yeah. Do you feel like 100%. Everybody would be happier to see anyone else other than Keita?
I don't get it. Someone's going to have to explain that to me. I just don't get it. Last we rotated Keita and Thiago, and that was okay. People's complaining about our rotation. Now nobody wants to see Keita. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Am I just not that type of fan?
I like Peter. I mean, I like him. It's just he's so injury prone, isn't he? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he played tonight and then he went down in the first 8 minutes.
Do you
and
know
then
what
there'd
it
be
is,
absolute,
though?
like, oh,
Yeah.
Klopp shouldn't have played him. Do you know what I mean? And
I
then it'll
don't
all be on
think-
Klopp then.
I don't think it's a case of people don't like Keita. I
Mhm.
think it's a case of you've got Carvalho and Elliott who have been playing so well. That's exciting for fans right now. Whereas Naby, we say it every season. This is Naby's season. This is Naby's season. And I feel like to put Naby in ahead of when you've got a chance in a game against Palace, what might be perfect for Carvalho or Elliott, if we put Naby in there, it's just again, like we saw last game, same old system, same
But
old.
but to be like, oh my god, pitchforks, let's cruise, like that's crazy to me.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
The extent of it is, I get you might not want to see him play, but let's be honest, like, other than like, all right, let's break it down. We said it earlier, just in 2 seconds. Like, Hendo's gonna play to cover, so we know Hendo and Fab's gonna play. Yeah. So on the right hand side, it's not gonna be Elliot. Elliot's not gonna play on the other side, so it's gonna be Fab or it's gonna be Keita. So you either go with the person who played 5 minutes and carrying the team, or somebody who's played in that formation. Where some people was actually praising, I think Keita's actually presses from the front very well. So it's like, I don't know why we're getting our pitchforks out for Keita. Like, it makes no sense to me. I get it why we're upset. But
I agree.
Quickly, though,
4-2-3-1 is what we should go to.
One Leo.
No, I was just gonna say that I think that we're already frustrated with the midfield, and I think it's just the epitome of all of our frustrations, and that's just unfortunate on him. But it's just not just the injury thing, but it's also like it's rare under Klopp as well. But the consistency is what frustrates me the most. It's like even a fully fit Naby, like he can have that. Remember in the FA Cup, the performance against City, he was unbelievable that first half, like unbelievable.
So good.
But the problem is, like, I'd literally rather have Millie in a game just because you know what he's gonna put in. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
You know what
true.
performance he's gonna put. And in the Premier League, you can't have a 2 out of 10 performance. You just can't.
Don't be
afford
surprised
that
if Milner starts tonight. Honestly,
I think Milner might start.
I just have this feeling that Klopp starts Milner. Like, I do. I just have this feeling.
Leo, do you think the worrying thing about Naby is he has to start to play well? Naby never comes. He's not a player that can come off the bench and have an impact. He's not dynamic. He's not got gifted with pace. He's not got like a powerful shot. Do you think if he did have that element to his game, everybody would be like, no, I like Naby as a squad player because when he comes on, he offers something different. So start him on the bench, bring him on. But he doesn't have that about him, does he? Yeah,
no, that's a really good point. And someone like Carvalho, Fabio Carvalho and Harvey
exactly.
Elliott, like they're gonna have that. So it's true that he kind of has to start. But again, like it's so sad because I think we talked about it in our group chat, but when he signed from Leipzig, I think it's the most excited I've ever been for a club signing, which is so odd to say because we've had big signings, but like he was so good for Leipzig.
Good.
With the way that we play, I just thought he was going to be like, I just thought he was going to be like the best midfielder in the league with KDB, and I was just so wrong.
Oh, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Oh, double pivot, Fab Hendo with Carvalho Elliott in the 10 and Nunes up top. Realism, Jared wants to see some fresh blood.
I'm right, change it up, man. Like,
what do you want then?
Answer that question.
Tell us your midfield 3.
Answer that question, bro. Say again, sorry?
Tell us your midfield 3 then.
Oh, so I, in the group chat, put Elliot in, but I was supposed to take him out. It was supposed to be Keita on the left-hand side.
So what you're saying, you want me to go back and do double the work and take out a player?
Basically, I'm announcing it here, so when he doesn't start, you know why. No, but I would go 4-2-3. I think they had a conversation in the group chat as well. Like, I'd go 4-2-3-1 and then allow someone like Carvalho to be expressive. You could even put Bobby in there if you want. Like, with our crisis, this is where Klopp can't be stubborn and try something different. Because obviously we're not going to buy a new midfielder. So this is where you get the fans back on side by saying, let me try something. Let me try and spice it up a little bit. Let's see what I can do here. And a 4-2-3-1 suits our crisis right now. Because you can play, you might sound crazy, but you can play a Millie beside Fabinho because they're just going to play in front of the defenders. And that allows Trent to get forward. Then we put someone creative in there. You know what I mean? I still think Fab is the most creative midfield. When I say Fab, I mean Carvalho. Let's not get that.
Yeah. No, Speaking of Fabinho, though, do you think Fabinho lately has been very
Stiff.
below par.
Very stiff.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Like since I think it was AFCON when AFCON was on, Fabinho was like we were saying player of the season.
Top scorer.
Yeah, top scorer as well. We were saying player of the season, top scorer. He was doing everything, and then it seemed towards like the last 10 games of the season, especially that game against Man City where it was the league game, not the cup game, the league game. Fabinho was all over everywhere, and Rodri made him look very amateur. Do you think his performances have dipped? And do you think it's due to not having any backup? Like, my performances are going to dip. If I've got to play every game, every big game for Liverpool, you're going to get worn out and you're going to have bad performances. That's why we need backup, innit?
110%. 110%. He plays every game, so you have to almost like allow him when it comes to a bad game. He has how many bad games does he have this season? 1, 2, and he plays practically every game. And then I think his mobility ain't where it used to be, is what I'm noticing. But he's a great tackler, and he's really good at like just doing his job in it and just staying fit and doing what he needs to do. So
no, I agree.
I'm starting to notice that lately. He's looking a bit stiff, but it might just be just preseason. He ain't got all the joints working the way it should be right now.
Get those joints lubricated. Get some oil on those joints. Abs, I want to go back to what you said before. My midfield three today, just before I touch on this point, it would be Fabinho, Elliott, and Keita. That's what I'd go with. I would start Abigail.
I've just realised, like,
you
asked me before what it was, and then I just went off on a tangent and didn't even say. How many times do I do that,
You always do this.
I always go off on a tangent, like I just think of something else. Like, you'll ask someone else a question, then I'll just think of an answer for it and then just ignore what you've asked me.
So come on, Abs, what would your midfield three be? And then I'll ask you your question.
There's a difference between what I think it's going to be and what I want. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what do you want? What do you want to see?
I understand that Fabinho's not like at the best performances, but I'd still play Fabinho. I think he has to play. We don't really have an option at the minute. Do you know what I mean? And I'd say Fabinho, Henderson, and then I'd like to give one of the younger lads a go. But I'm just gonna say, should I say one of the younger lads? I don't know. I'm thinking I'll give Elliot a chance, but I just think it'll be. I think he's going to play like Milner or Keita. I can just see him doing it. Do you know what I mean?
I think Elliot plays. I think Elliot plays tonight, and that's why I didn't put Hendo in.
Yeah,
because Elliot can't play on the left. He can't do it.
I just don't see him not starting like a Milner or a Hendo. Like, I just feel like for stability purposes, he's just gonna throw one of them in. I understand
maybe that Hendo plays at 6. That could be a good show. Maybe play Hendo in the 6.
I don't think
Elliot, Carvalho, or Keita or Milner. I don't know.
Possibly.
I would go Fabinho, Elliot, and Keita.
No
Hendo. God damn.
No Henderson now.
No Hendo. It's time to look to the future. Like Hendo, I love Hendo. Hendo offers something different. Hendo is a great captain. He's been a great captain.
Yeah.
But performance-wise, no. It's like it's a bit stagnant for me.
He went good against Fulham. Like, I'm not the negative person either. Do you know what I mean? Like, he didn't play great, but I don't know. We just need to put points on the table. I just feel like we need to, like, do you know what I mean? I can see Klopp being like stability, like, just this is like me, like tried and chosen or whatever the phrase is.
Yeah.
And I just see him going.
But you know what the thing is? I think Hendo would be honest with himself. He's the type of person. Elliot's just signed a new contract. He's in great form. I think Hendo would have that conversation with Klopp and go, I'm fine coming on from the bench. Start Elliot because he will be the future of Liverpool. We've got to give him that chance.
I know.
It is hard to take.
I'm not happy with that statement.
I know. It's difficult.
I'm not happy with that statement. I'm sorry. It should be, I didn't come hard. Next week I'm coming harder. I'm the captain.
But do you think?
I hear what you're saying, but you can't be like that. Too nice. Oh, he's the future. You still got years in you, man. Play. Get better. Learn to put a cross in. Add goals.
You're saying this to a 32-year-old. get better and learn something new. That's not going to happen.
Should we start
Hendo
managing
is
his I feel like we're at the point we should manage his game time, but because we haven't signed
Yeah.
anybody, it's like, okay, we let the youth play, but he shouldn't be. I don't think Milner, for example, I feel Milner feels like I can start any game back to back, and whenever
But the writing's on the wall, Leo. The writing's on the wall for Liverpool. Hendo's going to stay there just as long as Milner has, and he's still going to be getting game time. Milner's going to be the first 40-year-old outfield. I don't know if Teddy Sheringham was 40 years old. I don't know. But he's going to be playing for Liverpool when he's 40 years old because that's the way Liverpool move. We're going to keep these players. We're just going to do it.
Crazy. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
Leo, you didn't agree with what I said before, though. With which part of what I said did you not agree with?
I mean,
the Naby bit.
I know. Well, the Naby bit surprises me, but the Hendo bit, I just feel like the guy is a winner. I don't see him saying like, it's I'm at this stage of my career. Like 32 is supposed to be almost a prime. Like look at Thiago, he's 31. Thiago is 31. There's a 1-year difference, And
do you think he's
realistic? Technical ability and experience difference as well, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you think he's realistic though in that sense where he would say to Klopp, no, it's fat. Like, I understand you've got to try and bed Elliott into the team. Or do you think every week he's going, I need to be starting, I want to play the full game?
Yeah, I think and these professional footballers that get to this level, there's no chance they want to be part of a team where they're not on the first 11. There's no chance. Like I would go to him. Like I play for an amateur team here in Paris, and if I'm on the bench, I'm like so depressed. There's no chance. There's no, and you know what I mean. There's no chance. Hendo's like, you know what? I'll just be on the bench, and if he needs me, to come on for the last 10, I'll do it. Like no,
should be the other way around. Should be the other way around. Klopp should go to him like they did with Gerrard and Brendan did with Gerrard and whatnot. People go, you know what? I'm at the point now where you can't play. We can see you can't play week in, week out, and then you go, I need to start managing your game time, in course with like even stuff like the World Cup and stuff like that. And it works easier when they do that. And then obviously Gerrard when he said actually, he stopped playing internationally, started playing, still managed his game times. Like actually, no, I can play more games. Goodbye, I'm gone. That's where we're at the point with Henderson, where he should still really be back, being like, why am I not playing? Like I'm gonna play better. I'm gonna stay in the gym longer. I'm gonna do more shooting practice. I'm gonna, do stuff. You know what I mean? Stuff like that is what he should be doing. He's a captain as well, man. Come on, like we praise him for off the pitch, but we should be praising him for on the field as well. Like you've got to be. He's not his captain. Don't mean he gets a blah. He gets stick when he like everybody else.
No, I agree with what you're saying there, 100%. Abs, we go back to the point that you made earlier on, potentially trying to get Trent into midfield because of the defensive lapses that he has. Now, Realism Jared has put this post, Trent can't pass short under pressure. Have you not seen it? He has no time and plays it out under hits it. Come and look at our games, and he's not press resistant. He is placed at right back for a reason. Is this a good point? Because when you're at right back, you can see the whole picture. You can see everything. Yeah. You're not worrying about what's coming over your shoulder. You've got the full pitch to work with, so you've got time to pick out a pass. That might be what happened as well in the academy. They might have seen that Trent is not able to play under pressure in the central midfield role.
There's a reason why he's playing where he is.
Yeah. Do you think
there's a reason why he's playing where he is? I mean, it's a discussion, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's a discussion. I'd keep him where he is. Him and Robbo, they're not, Robbo's perfect, Trent's not perfect, but the way it is right now, it's not something to mess about with, but it's something to think about for the future, do you know what I mean? But I don't think he will, not under Klopp anyway.
Especially when we're struggling with injuries and things like that.
Yeah.
I maybe would rather see Trent come in, maybe playing a 6 where there's a little bit less pressure, because we've no cover. Like, what you're going to do, play Trent or then get someone from the academy? Like,
all these injuries at the minute, I mean, it just had me thinking, do you know what I mean? Like, if it gets any worse in midfield and we don't sign anyone, like, that's a question to ask you again. Like, now we're a week on. Do you think that we're going to get anyone before the window closes? Because it's not happening. Like, this time last week, I was saying, like, oh, yeah, like, I do think we'll get someone. A week on, there's, like, no murmurs of anything. Do you know what I mean?
But Naby's like a new signing. Naby Keita coming back is like a new signing. You know, there's so much talent. No, he
Leo,
can.
it's Monday. You just told me don't do it.
No,
It's
I'm just
Monday.
saying. I'm just saying he can be world class. It's like signing a 60 million pound player. It's like better than James Madison. You know what I mean?
Oh no!
Had that about Milner like 3 times, didn't we?
And
Yeah.
then coming back from
Yeah.
injury. Oh my goodness! Like,
And we still have
how
Ox.
many times are we going to hear that phrase in the next 4 seasons?
I
It's
know.
like a new signing.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
want
sick of it.
something that's like a new signing.
And we
I
can't
want
forget
a new
Ox.
signing.
We can't forget Ox either, who's coming back. You know.
Oh my!
We
Ox
had
will
this.
come
We
back.
had this discussion.
Ox does it every season, right? He times his injuries so he doesn't get sold because he loves Liverpool, and then he gets fit, comes off his crutches just as FIFA's released, so he can hand the boxes out to the players and tell them the score rating. And then he comes back, has a few good games in the cup, so everybody's like, "Oh, Oxy's coming back." And then he fades away again, doesn't get in the squad, and then the cycle continues. This is what's gonna,
Cox have a good game.
The cycle continues. But let me pull some comments up before we go on to the front 3. Or no one's got a front 4, have they? No one had a front 4. So front 3. Keita, we had that one. Keita on his day can be a great midfielder. Completely agree. But on his day, there's not enough days. That's what we're saying. There isn't enough.
He's starting
days.
tonight. You know, if I'm saying what I think Klopp's going with, it's
Yeah.
Fab, Henderson, Keita.
Me
Like
too.
that, it's
Yeah.
happening. You
I
know,
think so
like
too.
it is happening.
I think so
It
too.
is. It
Yeah.
is gonna happen.
Just accept it now.
He's so predictable, Jurgen.
He is predictable.
Patrick Vieira planned for this match 2 seasons ago. That's how predictable Klopp is. My dream is to see Liverpool playing a back
Right now.
5. What do you mean? Like
Right now we're in
play a
general.
back 5 right now?
Yeah, because I don't think we've got enough players for that.
No, we've not. Right. We've
Not
got
the
enough
minute.
players, right. Today,
No, we
I
have
don't
Reece
have back
Williams.
5.
Reece
Yeah.
Williams.
Reece Williams is. We're calling back from his loan spell. He's at Blackpool, isn't he, Reece
Oh,
Williams?
is he at Blackpool now?
Yeah, he's at Blackpool,
He's back.
doing his Sanucci stuff, you know. Anyway, let's not talk anymore about that. Let's have a look what other comments we've got. It's also interesting that Keita hasn't signed the new deal. Could be another media tactic, and they'll announce him near. This is it. Announce it near deadline day. We're seeing it too often. It's
Will
a
it tell
disguise.
you,
It's a magic trick because nobody's coming in. Like Leo's just said, it's like a new signing because we've just tied him down to another 3 years. Oh, I'm sorry for depressing you on Monday morning. I know you're still in Dominican Republic time, but we'll try and keep it a bit positive here. So let's move on to our front 3s then.
Woo.
Let's start with you all. Front 3 for tonight. Does it pick itself?
I thought it did, but then I saw some people pick Bobby. So, but my thing is Nunes, Diaz, Nunes, and Salah.
Diaz.
Yeah.
Diaz? Who's Diaz? I don't know who Diaz is. Diaz, Nunes, and Salah. Are we all agreeing with this front 3? Is everyone saying Diaz, Nunes, Salah? Right,
Yes,
that's good.
100%.
It has to be. Do you see, if Jota's fit, right, and I'll go to Leo for this, if Jota is fit, does he come in and take any of those places away straight away? Or do you think that's our best front 3 on paper?
I mean, what we were mentioning before about Gomez, I think is the same. It pertains to the entire team. I think if you slot in there and you perform, we saw with Diaz last season, we just signed him from a different league. You come in and you perform, you keep your spot. And that's why I think Darwin will start tonight because he proved against Fulham. I'm surprised he didn't start against Fulham given what he did against City, you know, but I think he'll start tonight. And the interesting part also that I think we should discuss is how Mo Salah turned on when Darwin was on the pitch. Even though in the first half, Bobby was there, and we always say, you know, Bobby, and I'm the biggest Bobby fan. Bobby, his genius is his link-up play, opening up space for everyone else. Wasn't it really interesting how against Fulham, Mo was non-existent in the first half, and then in the second half, he was at his best, and that's when Darwin was there. So I think that's interesting as well, because if he can do that too and add goals, then it's going to be...
Yeah, I agree. Do you think, Leo, Diaz, I love what Diaz does. I think everybody's underestimating what he actually brings to the team. He's bringing that, he's drawing defenders in, he's helping the rest of the team open up space for the likes of Nunes, for the likes of Salah, because he always looks to take a player on. He's so physical, he's so dynamic. but people are getting on his back already just because he's not getting the assists, not getting the goals. Do you think that will come, and do you think it actually matters because of what he does bring to the team?
I think it'll, like against Fulham, that's what's crazy in football. Like he was that close to scoring, and that would have changed everything. And so I think it'll come. I think this guy is just like, he's different gravy in terms of the work that he puts in. And I have no doubt that in training, he's there with Mo Salah, and he's like, let me learn off you how to finish. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if he gets anything from Mo, then he's going to be adding a lot of goals to his game.
Completely agree. Before I come to you, Abs, and ask you a question, Jared, I was beginning to like you, and then you've just said I've been on the air at this time in the morning. And I tell you what, we didn't say put
We
Trent
never
in the
said-
six. Like, let's
We
clear that
never
up.
said
We
that.
never
It's
said it.
I know I said
discussion.
maybe we could see Trent in there because there's less pressure on the number 6. I feel like there's less pressure from midfielders on the 6, less pressure from central defensive midfielders. So if he was to play in midfield, that potentially, or even no, not at number 10 because he's back to go. 6 would probably be better because he's got that quarterback about him. He's got time. He can drop deeper. He might fit in that role better. But I don't want to see him in midfield. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to see Trent in midfield, right back or nothing
It's
for
just
me.
a conversation to have, that's all.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's just a discussion, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying, what do you think? Do you know what I mean?
And
Yeah,
the very
Jared,
thing is,
Abs
you
is
never
telling
know.
you, listen to Abs. Listen
Football,
to
though,
Abs.
you never know. He might go into number 6 row and you're like, wow. Like, I'm not saying put him there before he starts with me and says
No.
I'm drinking the rum in the morning, but you never know. Like,
And
you just
Red
never know.
Bull. Do you know what? All you've got to do is take one number off his shirt as well, so it's easy for the kit, man. Play him at 6.
True.
Tiago,
True.
I'm sorry, bro.
True.
I'm sorry, Tiago. This one, Abs, I would start Jota against Arsenal any day. It's a shame we're not playing Arsenal, but I know what you're alluding to.
Yeah.
Jota loves to play against Arsenal. But Jota, he was a player who I wasn't excited when we signed him, Abs. I'm not going to lie. I was like,
No.
why are we
Same.
bringing
He came in
Jota
and
in?
impressed,
What's he
though.
done? Exactly, but he came in impressed, and I was like, he needs to start. When we had our squad last season, I would have said Mane, Jota, and Salah. On the day, that was my front 3. But then he kind of, after AFCON, when it was AFCON, by the way, Jota and Bobby was an amazing combination. Unbelievable. But after that, he kind of faded away and didn't get many goals in his last few games. But do you see a big future for Jota? Or do you think it was like a one-season excitement kind of thing?
I don't think it was a one-season thing. I mean, he's clearly talented, do you know what I mean? Like, Klopp clearly knows what to do with him, but Diaz, Nunes, Salah is the way to go for me from now on. That's it, really. Like, I'm sure
It gives me chills when you say that. What?
That's it for me. Do you know what I mean? If he impresses in training, do you know what I mean? And then Klopp decides, but nah, I love him. Do you know what I mean? But no, like, it's Nunes. It's Nunes. We're gonna see Salah, Nunes, and Diaz from now on. I think.
Yeah,
That's it
this
for me.
one, Jared. We're going to have to kick Jared out the comments, people,
Oh
because
God.
Diaz was easy to slot in on the left wing. Because let's be honest, Mane was below average there for 18 months. Mane had a great.
God.
Oh, do you know what? Actually, I read the first part of your statement, Jared, and I judged you. But you're making a bit more sense. Diaz just had to be explosive to have an impact. This is true because Sadio lost that explosive element to his game. Sadio lost the dribble. Remember when he came from Southampton? He was electric. He was dribbling, taking people on. But what we aren't giving Sadio credit for was his contribution to the team on that left side. Robbo didn't get many goals past him just because of how good Sadio Mane's defensive contribution was, supporting Robbo on that side. What I will agree with is Mane as a centre forward. That was exciting. I thought Mane came and found a new style of play, started to get crucial goals. Link-up play was really good. Strength as well. Let's give him credit for how strong he was. I agree with this comment in a sense. Oh, do you agree with this comment, or do you feel like we all underestimated Mane and now we're starting to see it now that he's left?
A bit of both. I think it's the opinion there is very true. I think he was below average. I think he moved into a striker and then started playing well. I think out of the front 3, he was the only one who was like really good with his back to goal. at the time. Diaz was very exposed. I didn't think he had to, because Diaz had to, he played well. So let's not, I think that gives Diaz a little less credit than he deserves, saying, oh, he just had to be exposed. He was a very good signing, if not one of the signing of the January transfer. So I would think we're giving Diaz we're not giving Diaz too much credit here, but it was a good signing, huh?
No, it was a good sign. And this is true. Jota can get goals. What Diaz doesn't offer is goals. Jota, a good option. I feel like any dynamic with those two, Jota from the bench, Diaz from the bench, Jota start, Diaz start, is something different. They both can impact a game. They can both start a game. But what Jota does offer, Leo, is more goals than Diaz. Do you think he would be taking goals away from Núñez or Salah, or do you think all three, like we saw with Sadio, Jota, and Mo, all three nearly finished as the top three goal scorers in the league?
I think the best thing is when Jota's going to come back, he's also really good on that left-hand side. Like we saw him against Arsenal. He was unbelievable that day on the left wing. And that will do Diaz so much good in terms of, let's say, Darwin nails his spot, right? And then we know Mo is the only option on the right side. Then the left side, if Diaz isn't adding goals, if he's not good enough in the final third, then Klopp can just say, Jota is going to slot in there. You need to improve that part of your game, and that's going to motivate him even more, So
yeah,
I think that competition is what he needs. And last season, potentially, he didn't necessarily have that. And Darwin nailing on his spot in the 11 might change that.
The more I'm speaking about this today, the more I'm feeling a bit more optimistic. I feel a bit more like players will come back from injury. Like, they're not going to stay injured all season, apart from Ox, who probably will. We will get better. We will have more depth. But do you think, because City are so good, we need to keep up with them right now before they do slip away? Is that what the problem is with everybody at the minute?
You know what? I think it's a bit of everything. I think if you think, like, I think we've been going from like one argument, then straight into another argument, and straight into another argument as fans. We've gone from like, we need midfielders before, like, no, last season we went to next season to season. We're gonna sign players. We're gonna get rid of a lot of players. We're gonna bring in. It's gonna be quality over quantity. Was everything that these big outlets were saying in it, like Daniel Joneses, James Pearce. Everyone's doing all that.
But that's not happened, has it? We might say quality over quantity, but we've had neither. Like, I don't want to be disrespectful to Núñez and Carvalho and Ramsey, but to let Nico go, you saw what Nico did yesterday, by the way. Nico Williams was unbelievable.
In the back five, though.
Yeah, but he was still unbelievable.
In the back four, he's not doing that.
Still,
he's not playing like that in the back four.
We've not seen Ramsey, so
do you know why I say that though?
Would you not be happy though with a Nico as backup, like
no,
Nico Williams?
No,
you wouldn't.
No, because none of us wanted him. None of us rated him.
None
of us wanted him. You said he probably is more dynamic as a winger, as a winger more than
winger.
Back five, but do you know what teams play back five? Teams that play back five are teams that can't defend.
Yeah.
So,
but that's what I mean. Defensively, though, that's where he impressed me most yesterday. Defensively, impressed
he's in the back five, though.
I understand that, but I'm not
played him in the back four,
on this.
and he was getting burnt every time. He was not good for us. He was not good. The cup games, he was never an option to play right back. That's why Gomez came in. So I hear your argument, but easy to say, oh my God, shoot. Nah.
He wasn't there, though, was he? When Gomez came in, he wasn't there. He was on loan. So,
no, but I mean, if we would have preferred Gomez to play right back, even though we wanted over him, we would have preferred Milner to play right back over him. And I even like Ramsey has won the accolades. He's played in a back four. You're proving a back. See a back five. It's a lot easier. This is why Chelsea, Tottenham, these teams. What's the first thing the managers do when they want to improve? Back five, because they don't have good defenders. They can't defend, so they do that. That's why they have these type of players.
The point I'm alluding to though is, yes, Ramsey might have played in the back four, but we've not seen Ramsey play. We know what we're going to get with Nico. Connor Bradley as well, was one for me. Yeah. Like, Connor Bradley should not have gone out. He's tearing up trees at Bolton, by the way. He's playing unbelievable. We've let Connor go. We've let Nico go. Brought Ramsey in. That, for me, could be a drop. We don't really know that. It could be a drop in quality.
Have you watched a lot of Ramsey? Sorry, has anyone watched a lot of him? I haven't watched enough of him to like pass a comment. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've not watched enough of him.
I've seen a few games, and the thing I say about him is, in a back four, he can play. He's not that bad. He's not bad going forward. He's
Okay.
defensively minded and stuff like that. So I like him as a replacement. And you know, he won young player and all whatever it was and all that stuff. I feel like that league's physical as well. Like I feel
Yeah,
he's
that's
going
what
to
you're
be a
gonna
good
get.
player, but you never know. Actually, right, you never know. But I'll take him over. I'll trial him over Neko. I was
Would you take him though? Well, you watch the academy a lot. Would you take him over Connor Bradley? Because Connor Bradley came in last season and performed really well in the first team when he played for the first team.
I would have loved. I think they're playing at two different levels of football, though. I feel like one's playing at a higher level, the other one's playing at like that in between level. So I think what he's done has made sense because I would rather send it. I mean, I'd rather send him out and trial him because at the time you still had just in case. I think we still looked at Gomez as a right back cover. So it was like, is he really going to play over Gomez? No. So you know, what's the point? Obviously, we're in a bit of a crisis now, so you're looking at it differently. But come on, Gomez would have played right back, and Nuno would have played right back over him anyway.
Yeah. Let me go back to that point I was making anyway. Nico Bradley, Ramsey's in. There's not much of a change there. Mane out, Darwin in. Some people might say that that's a drop in class as well for what Mane brought to the team. Mane's guaranteed goals. He's guaranteed to be clutch. Darwin probably will be. I think Darwin's going to be a sensation. I'm not going to lie. But you could say the golfing class is different right now. And then bringing Carvalho in, unproven, looks sharp, but we've not really added that quality that you're on about. We said like quantity or quality, whatever. We've not really added any extra quality on top of the squad. By the way, Minamino and Origi going as well. Like we need to replace these players because last season we saw that the depth wasn't good enough last season, or the quality in depth wasn't good enough. The depth probably was because we had enough players, but quality and depth wasn't. Do you think, honestly, we've brought enough quality in to be able to kick on to the next level?
Hell no. We haven't even replaced people from back in the day. Like, no.
Why not?
Our quality off the bench is poor. It's been poor for ages. Like, there's players that are. I felt like when we won Champions League, you know, or the Premier League, we should have said, all right, cool, sayonara, whatever the word is. Like, it's time leave a legend. But we let these, like, all right, people can say about Origi, but he stayed there for too long. He didn't barely play. Like, he might come on and got some goals here and there, but he stayed there for too long. Ox, he shouldn't still be here. We should have let him go after the Champions League or whatever. It's like we had players like Minamino who couldn't struggle. We should have got rid of them earlier and made these replacements. Like Wijnaldum, we got rid of him and then we was dancing around the idea centre backs because we only just signed Konate recently, and it's like again, it's very much like we'd rather sit with what we have than do the right business and then try something. And I get it, but it's frustrating because we've let go of players and we haven't replaced. And losing someone like Mane is detrimental to our team. He played a huge part in our team. Goals, assists, the type of style he played, the way he got players, took defenders out of the game. You know, he moved into striker and then he became electrifying again. We haven't replaced. Then we got rid of two really important squad players that helped us get through the cups and stuff like that. And we haven't even replaced them. And we're shouting like, "Oh my god!" But we broke the bank for Nunes. But we haven't replaced these squad players, and the quality
is bad when it was. Yeah, when you put it like that, like it is. So it's disheartening because it should be a time where we are kicking on and trying to go to the next level. And this is what worries me. There was a comment before, I can't find it. There's been that many comments, so thank you everyone so much. And it was that FSG and Klopp, they're a perfect relationship because Klopp is the master at working with what he has and helping a team overachieve. And Klopp like to be stringent, like they like to keep the purse strings tight. So it works hand in hand. And Klopp's not a manager to kick up a fuss and say, "Oh, you know, like Mourinho, well, I've not got the players in I wanted." Or Klopp's not the type of manager that's going to come out and say this. So that is a little bit hard.
Can I just say one more thing, Ash?
No, you can't.
Just one last thing, and this is going back to the question because I was saying that like the reason why we're going from one argument to another, and why we're very like uneasy this season is we've gone from saying last season we're going to sign players this season, we let go of these players, and that gave me the belief that we was going to bring in replacements. Then it's like there's no replacements, then there's no point of signing anybody. Everyone gets injured, and remember the season before last where we lost our centre backs, having the same argument when we brought two centre backs in on the last week But we're in that same position, but in midfield, we're not bringing nobody in. It's not making no sense because the short to long term, there's still loan systems, there's still so many things. And then we go on to if players should start. Then we have a game like that for our first game of the season, and now we're arguing about that. Then we're arguing about FSG, we're arguing about the top reds and all these things. We're just moving on to different things because it's a distraction. Because we're like, let's be honest, like right now we should be going in confident into Palace. It's a distraction. It's only now that you've now settled with the idea of we're not going to sign nobody. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to complain no more. Let's go in this. I'm optimistic and whatnot. But a week ago, it was like, are we going to sign a midfielder? Oh my God! So you're going.
Maybe we should keep complaining. I think that is our problem because we love Liverpool so much. When the season starts, we're just like, right, we're behind the team. But maybe we do need to keep talking about it and saying like it's not good enough because it isn't good enough. And it probably takes the fans to kind of rise a little bit and go against the grain to kind of make actions happen because Klopp would listen to the fans. If the fans started to get a little bit disgruntled, a little bit frustrated, Klopp would listen. Then Klopp might be a voice for the fans. I don't know. But I want to go to this comment, Leo, before we do our predictions. Bobby's Defo starting, says the Jerry James Show. By the way, go follow the Jerry James Show. Great show. Bobby's Defo starting, he's saying. Imagine if Nunes started and didn't perform, we'd only have Bobby to come on from the bench, which isn't good. Bobby does need that time to get into a match. Bobby's not a game changer. He's someone, if we're winning, we bring him on and he chases, he presses, he contains the ball. I don't know if Bobby's a game changer anymore. Would you agree with this comment?
I agree, but at the same time, we saw against Fulham, if we have another terrible start, it's really difficult to come back from that. And especially a team like Palace, if they go 1-0 up, they'll play so defensive, counter-attack.
Defense is very good as well, by the way.
Yeah, against Patrick Vieira, they're really well organized. So let's say they go 1-0 up because we decide to not play our starting, our best possible lineup, and then they counter-attack. It's going to be really, really difficult. So I definitely disagree in terms of like that was our problem against Fulham, and he showed that he's the difference, and he has to start. He has to.
Let me shout out my boy, Realism Jared in here. Jared, this is the place for you because let other people block you, let other people kick you out. Honesty is where it's at. Trust me, if you saw the group chat sometimes, it gets heated. But it's all about respect. At Kloppzone, we respect everybody's opinion. So please keep coming back to the shows. Give us your opinion. I will call you out for it, though. I'm not letting you get away with these crazy comments. But we'll listen to it, we'll discuss it, and we really appreciate, I can't tell you how much we appreciate everybody tuning in, everybody's comments. It means a lot to us because this is why we do it. We're doing it for you. We're doing it for the fans that want unbiased opinions as well, because we're not just going to say, oh, all is great at Liverpool. We're going to be unbiased. We're going to give you honest opinions. So stay in because we love you, bro. So let's just go on to the last part because it's all about, at the end of the day, the score line. So I want to place your bets. So let's go into here. Let's get the predictions. Like that one. Oh, I want to see your face when I play that sound.
I didn't know if that was someone's phone or what. I was silent. I didn't know. I just thought, wait, did I just hear the catcher? Oh, God. It took me back.
Place your bets. Place your bets. These sound effects, they're going to get worse as the weeks go on, by the way. I've found something where I can get sound effects, and I'm going trigger happy right now, so be prepared. Predictions then, score lines. Let's start with...
So I said 2-1, but I'm actually thinking it could be a 2-0 win. I said 2-1, so I'm not saying change the designs or anything, but I can see 2-0, now.
I'm sick of all this. After this show, please send me a message with your actual 11 and the actual score.
Abby,
Don't blame Abby. Abby.
I can see it. Actually, she's right.
Positive.
She's right.
Positive.
And she's going to be there as well, so it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Abs!
Right. That sounds like eBay or something, it sounds like eBay's going. I'm looking for me laptop.
Just checked out.
Yeah.
Purchase confirmed.
I'm going to be dead positive and I'm going to say 4-0 because I just feel like being positive.
4-0.
I was gonna say 4-1 at the start of the show, and then I started blagging about like how we'd have a clean sheet. So I'll just go 4-0, and I'll say I reckon Nunes gets 2. I think I'm gonna be dead positive because Nunes is starting. By the way, Bobby's not starting. I'm not having it. He's just not. He's not. So Nunes getting 2.
Abs, I need this one again, everyone. Bottom explosion, Abs. We need this one again. Give it to us. 4-0.
Yeah.
And
4-0.
Nunes 2 goals.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I'm going for. I mean, I think I might have to put a bet on because if that actually does happen.
Do you know what? You have to know because you've gone big. You've got to at least just a little accumulator, £1. Split the winnings between the HYPEstation crew. That's fine. We're all happy. Leo, it's over to you.
Woo! So I agree with Abs. I think we're gonna score a lot of goals just because we have I think the entire squad is so angry right now because of how we started, and that anger is just gonna mean goals, because we have so much talent going forward. So I'm going 4-1. Unfortunately, I just don't see the clean sheet because we talked about that right-hand side and the fact that it's also Gomez's first game back, and they do have a lot of threat going forward. So
I was gonna go with 4-1, but I have to stick to my guns now. So we'll say 4-0.
Bet with a 4-1, Abs. Don't worry about it.
You have to stick to your guns. Do you know what? I'm being attacked here by some form of bee or fly. I don't know what it is. So if you hear buzzing, it's not me. It's something attacking me. So I'm gonna stay calm right now. If you see me pass out, then the show's over to. Oh, I'll give you the show. If I pass out, you get the show. If I get stung, that's it. You heard it here first.
It's my shit now. I'm the captain.
It's your shit. It's my turn, by the way, to give you my score predictions. So, all loves that sound effect.
I do, I'm acting. I do.
He does love it. So, my score prediction, I think we'll get goals. I agree with Abs. I agree with Leo, but I think we'll concede goals. So, I'm going 4-3. 4-3.
God damn.
I hope that Wasp will be.
God damn.
Don't say that.
Damn.
4-3. You must think this is back in the day.
No, 4-3. I'm telling you now, it's going to be an exciting game. Let's have a look what everybody else is seeing, though, before we jump out. So we've got Latif Aziz, 2-0 Liverpool. Diaz and Nunes scoring a first goal for Joe Gomez. Would have been amazing, too. That would be amazing. I'd love to see a Joe goal.
I was about to say the maths didn't match today. Well, maths didn't because I was like,
the maths doesn't work. That's 3-0. Latif, that's 3-0, but we'll let you off. Joe, we'll go 2-0 though. Joe not scoring. We'll take that as your one. Azan saying 3-0. We've got. Oh, sorry, Azan. It's fine. Sorry, I went to eat. What did I miss? It's too late now, bro. You got to watch the show back. Watch it on repeat and share it. It's that simple. G keeping it. G shout out to G keeping it. G 2-1. To Liverpool, G saying, I'm sure G changes his mind every 10 minutes on this scoreline.
That's positive. Listen,
it is positive. Oh my goodness, G, did you hear that? Abs is throwing shade your way, saying that is positive.
It's crazy that she might have been wrong,
No, it is positive for G. I think in the back of G's head, he's going 2-2. We could lose.
But for the sake of the show.
Yeah, for the sake of the show, he's being positive right now. Jamie Llewellyn saying 2-0. I appreciate that. G wants someone to take the buttons away from me. Stop it. How dare you? How dare you? Any more? No, there are no more predictions. So, all I want to say before we do go, as Annie is saying, excited for the live after the game. What I want to say is we are going to go live after the game, about 20 minutes after the full-time whistle, and we're going to be accepting people on. So any fans, we're going to accept you on. We want to hear your opinion. We're going to be on Instagram. So get over on Instagram Live. Make sure you're following on Instagram Live for halftime as well. And, you even want to come on 30 minutes before kickoff too, don't you? Because you want to hype up the game.
Yeah, we got to, man. We got to be there, man.
You got to be there, bro. And by the way, someone said before, they're tuning into CBS just to listen to Peter Drury's commentary. Don't do that for much longer because I'm feeling some Kloppzone watch-alongs coming very soon. But I apologize for the language you may hear in them because I do get a little bit high rate. So please stay tuned for that one. But everybody, it's been an absolute pleasure. We've had the podcaster. We've had Abs, the artist. What am I going to say? And we've got Leo, the CEO. Look at that, boss man. I'm sorry, by the way. Like, I feel like I've let all down a little bit, just like all the podcaster. Yeah, Abs, the artist. That's a bit talented. And then we've got Leo, the CEO. What's up? I thought he was going to say something then.
That's all right. I know where I stand. This is basically the bullying I get on Culture Club, where I'm not an artist, you know.
Oh, don't
Listen.
be like that.
Oh, you have the most fans, so don't even talk like that. You've got the
no,
most.
I told you my stick man's coming, so don't worry about that. In jerseys.
I know.
Stick
You've been
men
asking for
are
that.
coming. I like it. I like it. So everyone, you heard our predictions. You heard our starting 11s. You heard it all here on the HYPEstation match preview show. But until next time, Leo, Abs, and you'll never walk alone. Peace.